Hi guys, it's extremely horrifying what happened in Bucha, a suburb of Kiev, just 25 kilometers away from where my family lives. It's hard to believe that something like that happened in 21st century in civilized Europe. Dead bodies lying on the street, hostages with tied hands killed on the basement, mass graves of innocent civilians. Putin's denazification looks exactly like that. So far, 300 plus bodies were reported in Bucha alone. There are gonna be probably at least 300 more in the recaptured areas north of Kiev. The whole area was heavily mined by Russian troops when they were retreating, and there are not enough resources at the moment to clear everything. But preliminary reports from Ukrainian government tell that the situation could be worse in cities of Borodyanka and Makarov. Today, let's try to understand how and why this happened, and was it a planned genocide or simply the way Russian army operates? The Russian Ministry of Defense almost immediately said that it's all staged. People are actors, Russian brave soldiers could have never done something like that. Dumb propaganda reached a new level and basically claimed that one of the guys on video moves its hand. Then another guy in the car's mirror stands up. It's super easy to find the original video and see that so-called hand is nothing but dirt on the window, and the car mirrors in Europe are convex and the shape of the objects change a lot while car is moving. There are also more videos of the same street taken by different people at different times. I found at least 3 of them. There are countless of photos. On April 4, Foreign Minister of Russia Lavrov reconfirmed that position despite overwhelming counter-evidence. You might find Russian propaganda funny, but one of my best friends in Russia told me yesterday that he can't convince his parents that Bucha massacre is real. And his parents are not really pro-Putin, they just can't believe that Putin could have done something like that, and Russian media space is completely protected, so it works. What is astonishing is that there is a parallel pro-Putin propaganda for advanced internet users. It claims that these were real people, but they had white strips on their hands, which are a sign of Russian army soldiers, and basically the Ukrainian army killed them by accident while entering Bucha. And now the Ukrainian side is trying to blame the brave Russian soldiers. The same guy who was standing up in the mirror, according to the first version of the propaganda, is a pro-Russian civilian in the second one. The propaganda shows us 2 more guys with the white strips. But with an easy check, you can see that it is actually face, not a white strip. There are very few people with white strip on that infamous street. But there is another dead guy on the video with the hands being tied by the white strip, but propaganda ignores that case. And it's really true that Russian soldiers usually have white strips on their hands and Ukrainian blue ones, but it's not applicable for civilians. Yesterday, this ridiculous version got extended that apparently on April 2, a secret Ukrainian neo-Nazi group with codename Botsman came and killed everyone for fun. As the proof, they showed the video with 1 soldier, 0 civilian, and the background voice which tells us that it's okay to shoot everyone without blue strips. And apparently, if you make the volume louder, you can hear "Please, I beg you" from some distant civilians asking not to get killed. Extremely cheaply made, but okay. The New York Times rebuked all the claims, showing the satellite evidence that these people were already dead and on the street since March 19, which is long before March 30, the official departure date Russian army claims. There is a third version of Russian propaganda, but it's not as explicit. For the last week or so, all the Russian propagandists had an extremely hating rhetorics. All the Ukrainians need to be destroyed, everyone is a Nazi, there should be no more Ukraine. And 2 days ago, the RIA News, which is the main Russian news agency, published an outrageous article. I read lots of Russian propagandist articles, but this goes beyond everything. Basically, it tells you about the action plan on Ukraine. Denazification means de-Ukrainianization, complete destruction of ethnos, decolonize of Ukraine from Europe, and create something like Gulag camp on the whole territory for the next 25 years, to insert Russian mindset into the population. No joke. It's an open Nazism and call for genocide. Basically, the third line of propaganda tells us secretly that we did it in Bucha and it was right. In addition, within the last 2 days, Russia made a campaign of showing the evidence that Ukrainian army is doing outrageous war crimes as well, and they are basically the evil. Two of the videos are showing cruelties against Russian army hostages, which is not good and video likely is authentic, but A. You can't compare civilians to soldiers, B. Ukrainian side is fully committed to investigate and punish the people involved in that, contrary to Russian denial. Unfortunately, that street with chaotic dead body is just one of the episodes. Another big thing is the backyards, full of dead civilian bodies, some with tied hands, meaning that they were hostages and it was an execution. There were several basements which were used as execution rooms. People were shot one by one. There is even a car which was completely overrun by the Russian tank, with deadly civilians inside. And it's all just one town of Bucha. There are countless of examples of cruel atrocities in many villages around. The most famous of it is the killing of family of head of Matyzhin village. On March 23, they were kidnapped by Russian army and now their bodies were found in mass grave and manhole with clear signs of tortures. But there are countless single murder episodes there and even more are coming soon. The evidence is overwhelming and you need to be a complete idiot to think that it's all staged or that Ukrainian Nazi did it. The biggest question is, why did Russian soldiers do it? All these are innocent civilians and it's hard to imagine that Russia planned and organized genocide to destroy Ukrainians. Plus, probably at least half of the casualties are Russian speakers. That's how it is around Kiev. The answer is quite complicated and shocking. First of all, there are different episodes. Not everything can be explained by one pattern. Apparently, the Russian and Soviet CIA equivalent called GRU has a common practice of sending so-called intelligence unit to the land of the enemy. Their goal is to get certain information about the enemy. They come to the place, capture 5 civilians, torture them to get information they want, then kill one of them to frighten the rest and get even more information. When the mission is accomplished, civilians are often killed to prevent them informing the enemy side. These are well-documented practices of GRU and KGB handbooks, and we have evidence of similar cases like that back in 2013 when the war in Donbass was in the active stage. Also, bear in mind that the original official goal was denazification, and they expected a bunch of Ukrainian paramilitary and territorial defense units, and the goal was to detect all of these elements. Most of these captured bodies in the basements are extremely cruel acts and war crimes, but at least they can be explained by that intelligence necessity. Regular units of the Russian army can kill civilians for the same reason as well. There is one intercepted call of a soldier to his girlfriend telling us a story that their unit was in the forest and they met civilians by chance and they just decided to kill them to prevent being discovered and destroyed from the sky, assuming that every civilian can potentially work with the Ukrainian army. Unfortunately, many episodes like shooting civilians riding on a bike or run over a car by a tank, raping and killing women can be explained with any military logic. There are countless stories of looting. Russian destroyed tanks quite often contain a bunch of electronics like microwaves, coffee machines, jewelry and Ukrainian currency, all stolen from locals. We have documented evidence of Russian soldiers sending huge packages over 100 kilos back home when they crossed the border back to Belarus. Can you imagine the US army taking microwaves? Honestly, it's hard to imagine even the Taliban army doing this. Allowing army to loot is extremely dangerous to internal discipline, something all armies of the world prevent because this distracts soldiers from their main goal to fight the enemy. Russian soldiers are different. These are usually people from poor and uneducated families from very remote places in Russia, much poorer than Ukrainian suburbs of Kiev. Their salary is something like $400 per month, which is a joke by Russian standards. Yet, these people are desperate enough to work for that money, which can be an okay option during peacetime. Russia promised these soldiers an easy walk to Kiev instead of a real war, increasing their salary to around $1,000 per month, assuming that Ukraine would surrender within 48 hours. This looked like a good deal for nothing. And now, instead of promised walk, there is a real war. Instead of a couple of days away from the base, they have to stay in Ukraine for a month. There is no food, no gas, no shower, because the Russian commandment didn't plan it well. The Ukrainian army is real and strong, killing hundreds of Russian soldiers every day. Dead bodies are being left on the field along with many wounded soldiers, and at the same time Russian propaganda says there are no casualties and everything goes according to the plan. The soldiers realize that they are just cannon fodder, and that's definitely not what they have expected before crossing the border. Therefore, there is an extreme discontent. And in one of my previous videos, I was speculating that sooner or later these soldiers would rebel against the commandment and likely desert or surrender. Well, I was wrong, and the commandment found a different solution to that problem. They decided to provide additional employment benefits: loot, rape, and killing. They started from a little, looting a local grocery store. That solves the problem of food. Then commandment is okay if soldiers loot something more valuable for their families. Getting a new microwave is a big motivation. Now the soldiers finally realize that there are no more limits. They can do whatever they want. Russia won't prosecute their own soldiers no matter what. They don't even admit there is a war. The next step, commandment silently allows rape and killing of civilians. The whole Russian army is built on a system of humiliation. And individual soldiers are basically subhumans. And now, finally, they can humiliate others and feel like gods deciding on the lives of civilians. The soldier might kill someone for fun or as a revenge for the killed Russian soldiers. Humans are animals. If there is a lack of law, killing is a natural thing. It's just a pure biology. The army of Nazi Germany had one big idea, which was wrong and evil, but complete, and people actually believed in it. Nazi soldiers committed extreme atrocities following that idea. In case of Russia, there is no idea. Everything is based on lie. You lie to your commandment, and your commandment does the same for its commandment. The Russian TV lies to the whole population. This creates an army of criminals, looters, and alcoholics, who are no less efficient in killing innocent people than Nazi Germany, despite lack of any unifying idea. Basically, it's a mob genocide. Luckily, we are in 21st century, and it's highly likely that we will have all the names of these soldiers involved, and there will be a prosecution of each and everyone after Putin's removal. Finally, let's look at the reaction of the international community. UN Secretary Antonio Guterres and President of European Union Commission Ursula von der Leyen are shocked but have no clue what happened and called for urgent and independent investigation. In 2014, when Malaysian Boeing was shot by the Russian-backed terrorist with Russian system Bucha, Barack Obama, as we know now, got all the evidence about how the book was moved from Russia to Ukraine and back from his intelligence. He looked at that and said, "You know, guys, we need to have an independent investigation." And well, after 7 years, that investigation is still going. By the way, China is not sure as well and asks for real facts. This is the most disgusting actor of that game, who planned that war along with Russians to change the so-called world order. And I hope the West stops being pussies and cancels China as well before it's too late. Scholz and Macron are a bit more vocal, but using formulation like Russian will answer or hold accountable, I feel like they're reacting to another sexual harassment. But that's the real politics, you know. Luckily, we have Boris Johnson, who's not afraid to say that Putin is committing war crimes in Ukraine and he will do everything to starve Putin's war machine. Even Biden asked for a war crime trial for Putin. Not bad. Poland and all Baltic states are extremely vocal and furious. They are no longer afraid of Putin. Last but not least, Putin's puppet, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. He was too busy with election and had no time to comment on genocide. Instead, he warned that these elections are between peace and war. Orban won and made a speech. Brussels bureaucrats, the Soros empire with all its money, the international mainstream media, and at the end, even the Ukrainian president. We never had so many opponents at the same time. This is European Union, babe. Hungary seems to be ready to join Russia to invade Ukraine. By the way, 2 days ago there were a bunch of pro-Russian rallies. I've seen evidence of one in Germany and one in Cyprus. There is an open war against NATO and EU. Putin is very clear about that. Yet there is a rally supporting that in the heart of Europe. very postmodernistic. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!